Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Pokemon Showdown battle. And in this game I'm battling I'm battling two opponents because it's a double battle, and not two versus two VGC style, but it's a double featured battle. So yet again I'm facing another heavily based water type opponent, and they have a Mew and they have a Ferrothorn, and I also like to have Ferrothorn. The thing is that only one of us can actually have a Ferrothorn standing on the field, and well, let us get into this battle because it is really interesting. Pelipper is there for the obvious drizzle, and Kingdra is the main problem, on the opponent's team, because if I do not take Kingdra out, then he can actually pretty much put a dent through my entire team. He can kill my Latios, he can kill everything I have, because the only thing that basically resists Kingdra is the Tapu Fini, but I really wouldn't want to put a Thunderbolt, a Hydro Pump X-Ray, because I like to keep my Tapu Fini as intact as possible. So, without further ado, let us get into this battle. And here we go. So my opponent is going to send out the Pelipper because it's the obvious choice for them, because they want to set up the drizzle and the rain is up, and I want to rain on my opponent's parade. I'm going to send out Ferrothorn because I know that I can do some shit against my opponent. So I'm going to go for the Leech Seed because I know that there's nothing that my opponent can do to touch Ferrothorn with Pelipper, and I can stay in all day. So speaking of staying in, I want to switch out into Tapu Fini because I know that I can resist the obvious secret sword that is coming against, on me, on the Tapu Fini. I can, get swords stuck in his abdomen, but, Tapu Fini can take them. So I know that my opponent will want to switch into something bulky like that Ferrothorn or Swampert. And speaking of Swampert, I go for the Nature's Madness just to get their HP down to half. And now, that would have been better if I were Ferrothorn, but oh well. Now, I know that that must be definitely the Mega Swampert, so that is why I'm going to send in Rotom Wash to actually resist something. Maybe they go for an Earthquake, but no, they won't, because that would be too obvious. But they still do go for the Earthquake, and oh my gosh, that was such a good play. So my opponent goes for the Waterfall, and gets the mother friggin' flinch. Oh my god, that was a horrible turn for me. So, I need to protect to stall out the rain, and my opponent switches out. So in comes Kingdra. They have 3 turns of rain, and I really do not want to give that Kingdra some space to attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my opponent waste their turns of Hydro Pump, So I'm going to switch on to my Ferrothorn because I can obviously take one in the rain. Obviously, that's what I thought, right? Obviously. Nah. That was a critical hit, Choice Specs Hydro Pump. That did too much. Way too much. Way more than I would have liked. So I asked my opponent, was that Choice Specs, and my opponent will confirm. The rain is out, so I know that my opponent will want to set up again with Pelipper. So that is why I go again for the Stealth Rock. I go for the Leech Seed. I really want to get my rocks up, but I can't because my opponent is really being annoying, and I want to see what they're going to go for. Is it going to be a Scald? And no, they go for a Hurricane, and it does 29% damage, which is horrible. And I do manage to get my rocks up though, because Pelipper will be switching out left, right, and center, and getting as much damage on this as possible will be really appreciated. Unless it has Roost, then everything will have been in vain. So my opponent goes for the Hurricane, and thankfully I do resist the hit. I can take one, I know I can, and I know that my opponent will want to switch out because, Mew is going to come in, and that is the turn that I opt to go for a Power Whip onto it. Oh no, I actually went for the Leech Seed because I predicted my opponent to switch because they don't want to stay in with their Pelipper all day, and that is why I predicted the Leech Seed. Now, the Power Whip would have been my other move. Now, this move, Mew went for a Defog, and I go for a Power Whip on it just to see how much I do. I do a respectable amount, and my opponent manages to get the rocks away. He has 3 turns left, and I'm pretty sure that he wants to get in his Kingdra here, and I predict that again, and I think that I go for a Leech Seed again. No, I actually go for the Power Whip. What is up with me, past self? Okay, so anything that comes in here will not take a power block. Just in case he wanted to go for that Mega Swampert. I don't know, maybe he wanted to Earthquake me, but no, it doesn't make sense. Because he would want, you would never switch in a Mega Swampert. So, I managed to stall out some Hydro Pump PP because if I do so, then Kingdra will be pretty much useless, and I do not want to deal with the Kingdra. So my opponent is going to switch out Kingdra again. I predicted him to switch out into Pelipper because he wants to get his Drizzle up. My opponent cannot take down my Ferrothorn, and I do get up the Stealth Rocks again, and this is the part where I switch out into my Rotom Wash, and I know that my opponent is pretty much screwed at this point, but he goes for the U-turn. My opponent pretty much read me very well, and in comes, I think, Keldeo. I'm not sure. Yes, Keldeo comes in, and I know that I can pretty much take one hit from the Keldeo, especially at 70% health. We're both at 70% health. So I go for the Protect just to stall out some rain and see what my opponent is going to opt for. They go for the Hydro Pump, not the Secret Sword. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I get some lefties back, which is good. The more HP I have, the better I can resist things. And I go for the Volt Switch to see if I can kill, but I just leave him with a smidge of 8 HP. And this is the point where my opponent forfeited and I win the battle. Well, let's try and make a prediction of how this could have went. I would have Volt switched out into my Landorus because he is Choice Scarfed. I would have gone for the U-turn, taken out the Keldeo. I would have switched in, most possibly, back into my my Ferrothorn because, you know, Pelipper and Kingdra are still a thing. And, you know, just to stall out some rain and stall out some PP. And with the Keldeo gone, and the Kingdra at very, below half HP, I'm pretty sure that I could have done some damage against it. But since my opponent did not take out Rotom Wash, that is why they forfeited, because Rotom Wash is a serious threat to its Pelipper. And as long as my Rotom Wash was alive, I'm pretty sure that Pelipper is much slower naturally, even than this bulky form for Rotom. So from the moment he didn't take out my Rotom, that pretty much sealed its fate. I would have taken out the Pelipper eventually with Rotom, and Kingdra would have run out of Hydro Pumps, and I could have sent in Tapu Fini to wall my opponent, and pretty much, yeah, that would have been the game. So that's how I predict the game would have gone. So Rotom Wash was very important in this game because I do also pack the Will-O-Wisp, and Mega Swampert and Ferrothorn would have had a tough time coping because of burn. It's something that they do not appreciate that much. So next game, I have the same team, of course, and my opponent has the Tapu Koko. Now that thing scares me shitless because it is fast, it is insanely fast, and it is very powerful, and it can be trouble. It completely destroys Tapu Fini, and he can be a problem for my Rotom Wash because I really need him around to burn the likes of Landorus and Ferrothorn and Medicham, because Medicham can be annoying, and using Medicham can be very interesting. I'm pretty sure that it must be Mega, I'm not sure. Most likely is Mega Medicham. But oh well, let us get into this game because this one was also interesting. Too bad in the previous game that my opponent forfeited, but oh well, it would have been interesting to see. And let's get into this game. So I'm going to send out Rotom Wash because I'm thinking that either his Landorus or his Ferrothorn would have wanted to come in, and that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get the Willow on the Stealth Rock setter, and my opponent also has the Spikes, which is something that I really, 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 really do not appreciate. So I really want to get this Ferrothorn out of the way, because if I don't, then it will be a seriously huge problem. So I want to send in Tapu Fini to defog, but I really do not feel safe staying in here because he has the Leech Seed, so I really want to get them off. And unfortunately, defog will get rid of the Spikes, but not the Leech Seed. So I really need to send out Tapu Fini. I really need to switch back into something else that can deal with this thing. And Ferrothorn against Ferrothorn is a stally match, but my opponent is burned, and he goes for Gyro Ball, which is very good for me because I do pack the Iron Barbs as well as the Rocky Helmet. So my opponent can do nothing to me. So he has spikes, he has gyro ball, he has leech seed. I am immune to leech seed. He's also immune as well. So I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to go for a leech seed. It really doesn't cost me to go for a leech seed, because if my opponent decided to switch out, I would have gotten my seeds up. So that's not bad. He gets 2 layers of spikes, which is horrible. And this battle, ladies and gentlemen, is to show you guys how good Earthworm can be. So my opponent is going to go for the 3rd layer of spikes that I predicted. That is why I went into Tapu Fini to go for the defog, because I really do not want to deal with this thing right now, because Earthworm can be annoying, but the good thing is that he is burned. So his 4th move is Power Whip. So no Stealth Rock from this thing, so I'm guessing that Stealth Rocks is the Landorus. Stealth Rocks is on Landorus. That's what I'm guessing. So I wanted to send out Earthworm because I can deal with him, and my opponent is going to go for the Gyro Ball, and this time he is going to die due to Iron Barbs, due to the Rocky Helmet and the burn, but he doesn't get burned. But do the math, that racked up at least 50% of his health. So my opponent is going to send in Happy, and I'm like, oh, he's going to go for the Pyrohax shenanigans, and he packs Fire Blast. I'm like, that could caught me completely off guard. So both of our Earthworms are out of the way, and that is not good for me. So I'm like, Mega Beedrill, show me what you got. Show me why you are OU and why you should stay there. So I go for the Poison Jab, and ladies and gentlemen, it does 100%. No other boost than its Mega Evolution. This is a jolly set. So in comes the Tapu Koko, and I'm like, oh, this thing is also weak to poison, so go for another one. And he does. Kills both of his fairies. I'm like, oh my god, are you friggin' kidding me? This thing is so good. This thing is. I was shocked. I was astonished at how good Mega Beedrill is. And you can understand why. Fairies are running all over the friggin' place. And that pretty much made my beloved dragon types, go bye-bye. So my opponent has the Z move, and I went for knockoff like a complete idiot. And then here comes the Stealth Rocks from my opponent, because I predicted them as such, and he has no items, so Stealth Rock. So the stupid knockoff is going to do nothing, but on the off chance that he wanted to switch into his Starmie, that would have been good. So my opponent misses a Stone Age, which is very fortunate. And at this point, I decide to go for a Draco Meteor, because I am not going to stand up for this crap, and I do 100% damage on the Medicham, because of course it's a Draco Meteor from a Latios, timid Latios. So my opponent forfeits here because there's not much he can do. I could have easily switched out into my Rotom Wash. I can resist the Starmie. I can definitely cope with Landorus. I could have gone for Burn on that thing. But I predict that my opponent would have done some switches left, right with Starmie, but still I do have Latios with a Choice Scarf, and I could have gone for a Draco Meteor on his Landorus, and I'm pretty sure that I could have killed it in one hit. And even if I didn't, I still have Mega Beedrill to deal with my opponent. So that was the game. Mega Beedrill is a friggin' monster. He is a fantastic beast, and even without Mega Latios, the fact that I do have Mega Beedrill in this team is he's so amazing, and I hope that I can actually get to use him in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle, and I hope that I can get some more battles for this team. It is so good. I really love using it. It's so steady in terms of defense and offense. It's a very well balanced team, and I like it so much. All the members work very well together with each other. And with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle, this 2-in-1 special, and I will see you guys next time. 57 days till I'm relieved of duty. 57 days. That is less than 2 months, but oh well. I might as well turn those 57 days into some very exciting Pokemon battles for you guys to watch. I know I don't have a lot of viewers, but even if there's just one of them, I hope that I entertained them. And I hope that you enjoy my content and that you stay around to enjoy some more. So without further ado, goodbye. See you next time.